Greetings, Beth Warriors. Greetings. Greg is back. So are you. Welcome to the Year of the Fire Horse. Grateful to be getting on here tonight. Let's see who hops on here. Let's see what direction this goes. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream. And grateful to everybody that's been tuning in to the message. I know that someone born in the Year of the Horse. This is going to be a powerful year. I already feel lots of power. Lots of motivation, focus, determination. How are you feeling in this new Chinese New Year, the Year of the Horse? Did you shed a lot from the Year of the Snake? What'd you leave behind? Comment down below if you left some things behind. I can tell you, I shed so much last year, starting around this time. I really did shed a tremendous amount. I started my year doing, let's see, yeah, it's there. It's hard to see, but I did a Amazonian sacred medicine called Combo, called the frog medicine. And like a lot of things, I come across people just moving about the planet. Grateful to come across you right now. Welcome. I hope that some part, if not all of this message resonates and gives you some inspiration, gives you some motivation, some clarity, some encouragement to become the best version of you. I think it's really what I spend most of my time when I invest in the messages. Good evening, brother. God bless. Thank you for being here. Is for us to really get more clarity on our existence. Do we gain clarity by scrolling? Do you get a lot of clarity when you're scrolling, or watching the news, watching all the things going on? Or do you get clarity going out in nature? Do you get clarity early in the morning or even in the evening when it's just the mood's just right? You can get quiet enough to really be present with yourself, your thoughts, your energy, your feelings, your doubts, your fears. Well, I started the Year of the Snake doing a sacred medicine called Combo, and the the lady that did it, I met her randomly, as I've met so many people, just moving about this beautiful place we call home. And she was actually selling jewelry as like a vendor. And one thing got to another, and I don't know how we even got started talking about sacred medicines, but it turned out she performed these sacred medicine rituals. And so I jumped on that real quick. And it was really interesting because you get these little burn marks on your arm, and then she applies what's really like this. It's this secretion that comes off of these Amazonian tree frogs. She puts it looks kind of like a little booger, but she puts these little dots on you, and man, you get nauseous. This isn't a hallucinogenic type medicine. It's more of a nausea. And which may sound crazy, but there's a lot of medicine in the purging. We carry a lot, especially down here in our stomachs and in our gastrointestinal tracts. We carry a lot of stuff in there. And so it's like this purging. I remember when I finally purged, I was having like these flashbacks when I used to be a real heavy drinker, and I'd always usually drink myself to getting sick. That was one of my problems, is I would drink so fast and so much, and next thing you know, the whole room and the world was spinning, and I'd usually land up on my hands and knees, right? Just embracing a toilet or trash can. And I felt that because she has this bucket. And I remember feeling that sensation and just almost like having that having that. Yeah, the stomach carries a lot of stuff. Absolutely, stress. Stress kills, stress kills over 100,000 people a year, job-related stress. 87% of people hate. Don't tell you if you're a boss out there, I don't want you to know this. Not even bosses hate. 87% of people hate their jobs. We're not in alignment. And there's something very powerful when we do find alignment. It's so powerful. And so I did this medicine, and I did 3 ceremonies in a month. But I remember kind of waking up the next day after, as I just see 555. That's a number of change, major changes. So if you're anybody that's looking or thinking or wishing that something would be different in your life, it's time. It's time. If you're not gonna do it now, you're never gonna do it. You're never gonna do it. You're gonna grow old and tired and look back, and you're gonna have nothing but regrets. Not about the things you did, it's the things you didn't do that you could have done. But the thing about the plant, this sacred medicine combo, and the year of the snake, which snakes are very symbolic for shedding skin. And I was somebody that throughout the course of that month, a year ago, I had a storage that I was paying for, and it had so many layers and chapters of my life, just things being possessed and not utilized, not cherished. And it's really interesting about us how we just collect and keep and kind of stow away things that we don't use. Welcome, brother. And so I made a commitment, a promise to myself that by, I think it was about March 15th, because I did 3 ceremonies in 1 month. I said by March 15th that I was going to have my storage cleared out no matter what. And I did it. I gave away so much stuff. There were so many things. And a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that, man, y'all are good at like just putting stuff up for sale and selling things here and there. But for me, I just felt more urged to give it away. I gave a lot of it away to like Habitat for Humanity, some other nonprofits. But last year was an opportunity to release things that no longer serve you. But guess what? The good news is it's not too late. It's not too late for you to still let go of things that no longer serve you. I'm the kind of guy that says, if anybody out there listening, if you ever think you got dealt a bad hand in life, I'm the kind of magician, right, that believes if you don't like the hand you got dealt, guess what? You have the whole deck at your disposal. Just pick out the royal flush, pick out a straight, pick out a full house, whatever you want. It's not called cheating. That's literally how we manifest. You have the whole deck of cards. And so the same is true with zodiacs and Chinese New Year's. We all got a little bit of everything in us. And so last year was the year of the snake, so there was definitely an extra incentive to shed and let go of the old. And if you did some of that work, then bravo, keep going. Because that's sort of the experience of becoming 1% better every day, becoming the best version of yourself. Is every day is an opportunity to reflect and say, who was I yesterday? What could I have done better? What I do good? And then you had today go down And one of the things that I've been really meditating on the past week, but for sure, kind of just in the last 24 hours, we're in a really powerful timeline right now. If you're watching this on Tuesday, February 17th, we had the first solar flare, the first solar eclipse, excuse me, ring of fire in the southern hemisphere. And you have a new moon, and you have the beginning of the year of the fire horse, Chinese New Year. And just those types of alignments are not an accident. They're powerful. They're opportunities, they're windows, they're moments in time for you to utilize a little bit extra incentive to really make some choices that lead to some actions that ultimately deliver the results that you desire in this life. So something I've been working on, and I wanted to encourage everyone here tonight with this, as I just saw 11:11. Again, another synchronicity, not accidental. I wanted to encourage everybody that listens to figure these two things out for yourself, right? Write two lists. If you know me, journaling's the thing. If you never got into journaling, you should go to resultskillexcuses.com and check out the 1% Better Everyday Journal. You are missing something if you've never given it a look and definitely haven't started down that journey. Aside from that, you can just get a piece of paper and you can write a line right down the middle. And on one side of the paper, you can write everything that you don't want. What don't you want? How don't you want to feel? And on the other side, I want you to write down a list of everything you do want. See, the thing is we think we know ourselves, but I challenge you to prove it to yourself who you are, to really sit with yourself, to figure yourself out. And these little self-discovery exercises are very, very, very powerful, a lot more powerful than you think. They may sound almost like basic, right? It's like, basic, really? Write down a list of what I don't want and what are the things I do want? Yeah. When you write stuff down, it's literally crystallizing what you're seeing in the mirror with yourself and really how you're seeing this world. So I'll give you an example. When I wrote my list down, things that I don't want, I started with ways that I feel, right? Are you aware enough about yourself that you can really be honest and say, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I don't want to feel broke. I don't want to feel overweight. I don't want to feel unhealthy. I don't want to feel unattractive. I don't want to feel rejected. I don't want to feel fill in the blank. What don't you want? Because what it takes is you being honest enough with yourself to say all the things you don't want. And then you sit there and you write a list down. Usually everything you don't want, what you do is you go right next to it and then write the opposite. What's the opposite of being broke? Well, being abundant, right? Being prosperous, if you don't want to feel like a loser, you want to feel successful, right? And it's like we think we know what we want, but where most people give up is that in order to get what you want, can you guess it? You got to let go of what you got. See, you got to let go of who you've been. And that doesn't mean that you reject yourself, because it takes acceptance of yourself. But if you accept yourself enough, to really be honest with yourself about yourself, well, then you can have these conversations and not feel guilt, not feel shame, not feel like low self worth. You already feel that stuff. Most people that I work with one on one, they already feel a great sense of low self confidence, low self worth, low self esteem. And those are all things that I've worked on with myself. And I promise you, every one of those things still wants to show up in my life through a thought, through a circumstance, to make me have doubt, to make me feel like I'm not good enough, or I never will be good enough, or there's something wrong, right? And that's why I love journaling on a consistent, regular basis, is because every single entry, every single day gives me an opportunity to look back and have receipts saying, wow, look how look what I was going through 1 year ago. How many of you can look up documented information about what your thoughts were, what your feelings were, what the circumstances were? Most of us can't do it because you don't have a practice of journaling. And I think a big reason why people don't feel they have time for journaling or think it's stupid, I think a lot of it has to do with the broken education system, but I won't get into that right now. But I would definitely want to challenge each and every person listening here to at least try writing down the two lists of what you don't want and then what you do. Because when you have that list and you even put on the wall, you can look at it and if you can really start living life with more intention, you can start holding yourself accountable. Could you imagine that novel idea? I think there was a president here in the US many years ago that said, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Now, I would rephrase that as, don't ask what someone else can do for you, right? Challenge yourself to see what you can do for yourself, to change yourself, to transform yourself, to rescue yourself, to save yourself, to show up for yourself, to cheer for yourself, to believe in yourself. Because guess what? Guess what, folks? If you don't believe in yourself, and a lot of people do not, I promise you no one's going to believe in you. No one. Because, I mean, no one's going to believe in you enough to make you believe in yourself. Because I can tell you, I believe in each and every one of you. Because I know who you are. Some of y'all don't even know who you are, right? You don't realize that you're an eternal soul having a human experience, that you are a creator of your reality, and that the reality that you are experiencing starts right here in your imagination, in your thoughts. When you think negative thoughts, negative things happen. When you start thinking positive thoughts, positive things start happening. And that's where we can tie into the lesson of, right? If you can really be honest with yourself and say, I'm a really negative, pessimistic, fearful, right? Just triggered, woke, just concerned of all the things, overwhelmed by all the things in the world, all these things that you probably have zero control over, but they pull you in. If you can be honest with yourself about who you're being and say, you know what, I don't like this version of myself. Well, the cool thing is that I'm here to share with you is you can change anything about your life. Anything. I'm going to say it again. Anything. Yeah, that one thing you think is impossible or will never change, I promise you can change it. It may not be what you think. See, that's what's so beautiful. When we start figuring ourselves out, we stop. What I stopped doing when I was pessimistic, when I was living with a lot of doubt and anger and confrontation and guilt and shame, you know what I used to always need to know before I did anything is how? How is it possible? Please explain to me how. It's true. And even if they do, Brian, even if someone does do something for you, right, it won't last. It's not sustainable. I do things, I do a lot. I consider myself pretty generous, very thoughtful. I do a lot of things for people that they won't do for themselves. But you know what happens? You know what's shitty about humans? We take it for granted. We don't appreciate it. When it's handed to us, we don't appreciate it as much. We say we do, but I don't think we do. I don't really think we do. I think in a healed state, when you're divinely aligned and you're not chasing after things and hustling and grinding things, you're allowing things to flow to you and you're attracting things. You'll appreciate those. You'll appreciate those things. But when you're still unhealed, and if you want to know what I mean by unhealed, I'm talking about emotionally, spiritually. Unhealed, when you're still unhealed, then if something is handed to you, you'll squander it. You'll take it for granted. But the moral of that story, and thank you for the comment, is really nothing changes unless you change. But all change starts right here in the mind. Most of you, you know what's holding back change, transformation, positive shifts in your life? You know what's holding that back? Your attitude, your little shitty attitude, right? You don't believe it because you need to know how. Show me how. Show me how. Somebody show me how it's going to happen. And then even if they do show you how, you're still skeptical, you're doubtful. And even if they show you all the steps here, do this, you still won't do it. We're so stubborn, aren't we? Humans, we're so dug in. I think even just the feeling I have right now. Compassion. I have compassion for how stubborn we are. Cause man, there's still parts of me that's pretty dang stubborn. There's still some parts of me that are going through their transformation. Very much so. And that's the beautiful thing is this journey is every single day. I'll tell you what, man, I had probably one of the most challenging weeks this past week, and even just the past 24 hours. So challenging. But I'll tell you what, I showed up in a whole new way. Like I was just on the verge of like giving up on like a lot of different things. And something, I say something inside of me, I say who I am, right? The true authentic version of myself showed up and said, we're not giving up. The higher self said, you know what, this is hard. Let's take a break, right? And let's come back. Thank you, bro. I appreciate all those prayers, all prayers, right? And you know what feels so good about that? I mean, literally, I literally had a miracle happen. I had a miracle happen this morning. Like flat out miracle. And it was a divine miracle. That's what's beautiful. Because I think we're all capable of being miracle workers. Right? Do you know what it is what a miracle is? A miracle is being helpful. And when you're helpful, that means that you are moving and acting in love. That's all it is. To work miracles, we should all be miracle minded each and every day, to look for opportunities to be helpful, not hurtful, not a burden, not judgmental, but to be helpful. Because again, everyone's going through something right now. It's great. It's great, man. I mean, I was defeated yesterday. When I look at my reflection and I was like, doing my journaling this morning, reflecting about yesterday to today, I'm like, man, I was defeated by the end of the day. I was like, how did I get here? Wait, what in the heck just happened? I just lost total control. And then it was weird, but I didn't sleep. I slept good last night, but then I kept having the thoughts on how I could fix my situation. And I woke up dark early and I went to work and I started hammering away at my situation. And lo and behold, it all came together and a miracle happened. A miracle happened. And see, that's just what happens when we don't give up. When we don't give up. I think one of the most inspiring stories that I've ever heard is like Edison, Thomas Edison, and all the times that it took for him to invent the light bulb. I mean, thousands of attempts. And it's like, why didn't you give up, man? I mean, when was the last time you tried something 1,000 times to get it right? We can't even try and fathom that 1,000 times. Most people out there, most of y'all probably can't even get past a couple times, of not really doing it good. And you're like, I don't need it. I'm over it. You just give up. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Can you imagine? I mean, what were the people saying around Thomas Edison back in the day? Like after 100 times? 100 times is a lot. But after that, they're like, come on, dude. Like, these were smaller towns. Everybody knew everybody, all up in each other's business. Especially the guy down the street, the weirdo doing all the inventions. They're like, come on, bro. Really? How many times are you going to do this, man? Give it up. Calling him an idiot, all of it. You could just hear it. People calling him an idiot. Come on, man. Trying to distract him. Dude, seriously, bro. Let's go down to the pub, man. Let's go get a brewski. Like, why are you wasting your time with this, man? We got candles. Thomas. Did you forget? We got candles, bro. We got oil lanterns, man. We're good. We got oil lanterns and candles, man. What is this light bulb, bro? Stop. Give it up, man. Give it up. And he just kept going. You know why he kept going? Because he had a vision. He had a dream. Do you have a dream for your life? What's really sad is we all do. Oh, shit. We all have a dream. We all have a dream for our lives, every single one of us. But most of us, the dream has all but been snuffed out because we don't believe it. We're like, how is that going to ever happen? Because we compare ourselves to everyone else and they're so lucky and I'm not them. And it's like, yeah, good. You should be thankful you're not them. And you should be thankful you're you. How about that for a reframe? You ever think about yourself like that? That you're so special? that you can actually be thankful that you're not someone else, that you get to be you. And there is something so special inside of you, a gift, a vision, a dream. And guess what? Your purpose, your existence is for you to fulfill that. This is the whole existence. The existence isn't for you to be the super fan of something. It's not to be the super fan. You are supposed to be the main character of your story. You are the star. You're the star. You're the star. And for you to win, no one else has to lose. That's what's beautiful. For you to be the best at something that you have and no one else has, because you're one of one. No one else has to lose. No one else has to be homeless. No one else has to be pushed out or taken down. It's like, no, you can be the best version of you. And we need that. That's why I get on here. That's really the whole message of Results Kill Excuses, is to inspire people to fulfill your destiny, to fulfill your purpose, to really embody why you exist. And yes, you got to kill all the excuses that try and stop you from fulfilling those results, so that when you look back on life, you could be proud of yourself because you actually accomplished something for you. You contributed to the betterment of humanity, right? You made this world better by shining your light. That's where we're shifting. If you look out there right now, if you look out there, I look out there, I'm looking all over the place, and it's just like everybody's going through something. Every system, every person, everybody's going through it right now. Only from your vantage point, which is flawed, do you think that other people have it better, or that their lives is perfect and your life sucks. It's not until you start realizing that your life is the way it is because this is how you wanted it to be. And you need to learn the lessons. And the real lesson is to not give up. It's to get up, to keep going. I had to remind myself of that lesson yesterday. When I was in the midst of it, just everything was falling apart, and I'm like, what in the heck? How did this happen? And I ran into somebody, and he looked like, how's your day going? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know how I got here, bro, but that was a rough day. And yet, the beautiful thing about each moment and every single new day is that you get a new opportunity to get 1% better. It's not about perfect. It's about having a why. Why are you doing something? And a lot of people want to do things so that other people will recognize you. Which, if you really look at that, there's deep-rooted wounds underneath a lot of success that we see now in this day and age. Very shallow success. People that never felt good enough, right? They found a drive to say, I'm going to succeed, because if I succeed, then people will value me and I'll feel important. Because obviously there was a time in their life they didn't feel important. They didn't feel valued. They felt worthless. And that's a hell of a motivation there's a lot of healthy people out there right now that they didn't just wake up healthy. We as people, you don't just wake up healthy. Oh, no, 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 no. You had to have gotten to a place where you were unhealthy, felt like shit, and said, I'm tired of this, and I'm gonna wake up every single day and be a little bit more healthy and lock in. And when you do that over an extended period of time, your life transforms. It's the same thing with emotional and spiritual healing. Those things don't heal overnight. I know that there are a lot of system and organizations that will sell you, kind of a redemption, sort of like fast food, right? It's just say this thing, do this thing, and boom, you're good. Everything's good now. And it's like, I tried all those. It's like it didn't change it. It didn't change me from the depths of my soul. It didn't change my attitude about life. It didn't change the subconscious programs that when triggered, when pushed, those buttons get pushed. I was still self-sabotaging. I was still confrontational. I was still acting out of anger and fear and, defensiveness. And I had to get to the root of all that emotional baggage within me. And that's where, these exercises like figuring yourself out, writing out 2 lists and saying, what don't I want and what do I want? Right? If you don't want to feel unhealthy in this new year, well, then what is it going to take for you to wake up feeling healthy every day? Well, guess what? You better make some serious decisions, because you don't wake up healthy by doing unhealthy things. Period. There's not a pill that's going to make you feel healthier about yourself. And then I guess you have to ask yourself, what does health even mean? And I break down health to the depths of who we are, to the fulfillment of our totality, which is mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health. Like, you get those things in alignment and you're unstoppable. When you look at health, not just one dimensional, when you don't just say, well, I just need to lose fill in the blank number of pounds. It's like, it ain't about losing pounds. It's about changing your lifestyle. It's about changing how you show up in this world, like for the long haul, not just saying, I'm going to do this 90-day crash diet and see what happens. It's saying, do you want to be healthy in 5 years? Do you want to feel healthy in 5 years from now when you wake up? Do you want to feel healthy in 10 years, 20 years? And yeah, I know you may or may not be there. But again, if you could make choices today, tomorrow, and every single day for the next however many years of your life, do you want to feel healthy when you wake up? And if the answer is yes, well, then the solutions are simple, but the actions are hard, because it takes discipline. You're going to have to unlearn some things. You have to change some things. You're going to have to sit in some rumblings and grumblings of that tummy and that brain of yours that feels like it has to be fed and it can never be neglected. And it's like, come on now. Ain't nobody gonna starve if you miss a meal or miss a whole day of meals or miss all the snackies or the drinkies or whatever the heck it is, the sweets, right? You start really making some better choices for your life. Guess what? You'll start to transform yourself. And I think that's really the power of this year. So last year was the year of the snake. There's always opportunity to let go, to lighten your load. But when we're riding new energy, a fire horse, you think about a horse, right? If you ever watched a horse running or a horse race, I mean, those thoroughbred type horses, I mean, man, they can go, or even work horses in the high country. When I was a kid, my grandpa took me on this expedition horseback up in Colorado, the high country, for like a week. And it's like, man, them horses put in so much work. We just rode the horses every day, 10, 20 miles all over the dang country, all over the high country in Colorado. And those horses put in so much work. So if you could ride that energy that you're ready to start putting in some work to bring about the results, to bring about alignment with your truest purpose, well, ain't nothing gonna stop you except for yourself. You are the only one that can stop you. Yes, there are plenty of distractions, though, that are happy to help. They are so happy to help you to not fulfill your purpose and your dreams. And that's probably that's probably, as somebody that's going on 14 years of sobriety, and I've made massive changes throughout those 14 years, probably one of the hardest truths that I had to realize is that when you catch fire, when you get some motivation and you're all inspired, and it's like you're almost like you just have this fresh energy because something shifts in you, right? You've been resistant to the change, and now you're like, I'm ready. It's now. I'm starting. I'm doing. And then you start actually doing, and you stay consistent. It's like when you first start it, you tell a few people and they're like, oh, that's good. That's awesome. But if you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, them same people aren't going to be cheering you on anymore. That's been my experience. Most people are going to be like, whatever. Like, because I think deep down inside of all of us, we know we could do more. And when we see somebody that catches that steam, that momentum, that energy, it exposes the people around us, and it gives them a message that, look, they're doing it now. You know who else could be doing it? You. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be doing it though. I hope they stop doing it. If they stop doing it, I won't have to start. That's what a lot of people say. They'll say it under their breath. They probably won't tell you to your face, but a lot of people are like, they'll cheer you on, then they stop cheering, and then they're just wishing that you'll stop so they don't have to start. Misery loves company, right? Well, we're trying to create the inverse of that, where it's like success loves company too, right? There is a way for us to actually, from a very genuine, authentic place, like cheer each other on, encourage each other, inspire one another, right? Without animosity or envy or jealousy, but genuinely, like seeing someone do good and being like, I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people do great and accomplish. And there's like no jealousy because, again, there's no competition. That's another thing we've created. It's like there's no competition. Each person, which is a soul, it's like you have your own safety deposit box given to you specifically by God. And only you have the key to open that, right? So no one can ever take what's yours, but you can't have what's theirs. And if you've ever taken something from someone else, you know that never works out. I remember doing that a few times as a kid. right? Seeing that toy, the kid, 'cause, my mom struggled, so I didn't always have the nice toys. So sometimes I go to my buddy's house and they'd have all the toys, man, like all the coolest of coolest. There's a few times I pocketed a toy and man, I got in trouble, right? 'Cause it's like a sleepover thing. And then the family's like, my friend is like, my toy's missing. And I was the kid there. So, you know, them calling my mom like freaking spanking me or whatever she had to do to get me to give the toy up, you know. So when you can't lose what's yours. But here's the sad thing. You can't lose it. But you know what's worse? We are so stubborn. We won't receive what's ours. We're too afraid to receive it because it's all the unworthiness. We've been telling ourselves we're not good enough, we're unworthy, we don't deserve it. And a lot of that comes from just all the shit we've heard throughout our lives, especially when we were kids. And so we have to unprogram all of that. And this is the self-discovery. This is all the self-discovery work. Figuring ourselves out. Yes, as adults, we have yet to figure out how our childhood trauma is showing up in our adult lives. Yes, your childhood trauma is still impacting your life to this day. And yet here's the bright side of things is there is a way for you to take your power back and to heal it, to no longer be just kind of a subconscious victim, right? You can really start living life with intention, but guess what? It starts with clarity of mind. A lot of us have figured out that there's a lot of substances and things out there, chemicals that make us feel way better about ourselves than when we have to do life on life's terms. And I have a lot of compassion for that too, because through my own addiction struggles, I had to basically burn my house down, I had to destroy everything so that all that was left was ashes and memories and brokenness to say, all right, well, you ever heard once you hit the bottom, right? There's only one direction, and it's to go up. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. So if you're feeling like you're heading towards a bottom or maybe you're in a really tough spot, don't give up. There's a blessing in that. You asked for it. There's something about the circumstances that we face, especially the ones that really they challenge us, and we carry around a lot of guilt and shame, like we want to hide it. We don't want anybody else to see these things because, again, we're trying to project an image that somehow everything's okay or we're functioning, or we're trying to preserve a sense of belonging, but it's fake because really underneath the surface is just all the chaos, all the gunk, all the grittiness of this life. And I think that's really one of the things that makes us human. And we forget that, is that we all have some grit. We all have some gunk. When we start to live more true and authentic and really sit with ourselves, that's where the healing happens. And then when we start to open ourselves up, ask for some help, make some changes, take some actions, well, that's where the transformation starts to kick in. And every single one of us has this capability. And I hope that the newness of the moon that's upon us right now, and that the fire of the horse this year gives you some heat, some energy, some courage, some strength to really face the fears within and really give yourself permission to see what you're made of. Quit playing small. Quit being so distracted. And quit giving up so easily. Some of y'all have given up so bad that you don't even try no more. You're overwhelmed. And a lot of that, the sad thing is, a lot of the spirit of sort of complacency, capitulation, that kind of quitter's mentality, it's all based on the programming. So I would also have you really evaluate, what are you consuming? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Right? And think about how those things are impacting your life. I was talking to my massage therapist recently, and he was telling me about how he'd given up watching TV at the end of last year. And I asked him, well, what motivated you? And he said he just felt that, like, watching TV, watching news, watching all the things, like, he didn't like who he was becoming. He didn't like his mood. He didn't like the attitude he was having. He was just irritable and angry and tense. And I said, wow, I was really impressed with that self-reflection and willingness to take a drastic action. And so I'd asked him, well, how do you feel now that it's been a few months? And he's like, man, it's the best decision I made in a long time. It's like I'm a whole different version. Like, I'm not wasting my time on all these things. I have more time for myself, my family, my interests, my hobbies. And that's the same thing I preach here. I mean, my relation with that story is I gave up TV over 17 years ago. I don't watch shows. I watch a movie or two a year, if that. I really don't got the time for it. And what I mean by I don't got the time for it is I have time for it, but my time is too valuable that I'm not going to just sit there and just watch. And when I do, I'm human. I do a little bit of that, the scrolling. I at least try and make sure that what I'm consuming, right, is uplifting. It's a part of this type of content, right, that you're listening to here. This isn't just for entertainment purposes. You know, I've given you assignments. I'm challenging you to be a better version of yourself, to really identify your gifts and be a better human in this world, right? And there's content like that I also consume. I don't have time for just the jokes and the gags. I mean, I'll watch a little bit of that, but it's sparingly. So with that being said, I hope that you're feeling fired up. And if you don't feel fired up, maybe you need to add that to your list, is if you feel kind of lowly, if you feel kind of depressed, if you feel kind of unmotivated, well, again, that's something in your own clarity with the assignment. Those are the things that you don't want to feel. And right away, your mind's going to want to play tricks on you. Well, what does he mean? I don't want to. How do I not feel something? It's like, again, it takes practice. See, this is how programmed we are. And this is how subconscious we live. If I was to tell you something, could you right now, this is just a quick practice, if you were to just take in a deep breath in through your nose and hold it 1, 2, 3, and then just exhale out through your mouth. And always try and breathe, exhale longer than the inhale. The breath will always get you out of your head and have you bring yourself back into the present. And if you were to do that again, maybe that first one caught you off guard, but in through the nose, deep breath, and then hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. And if I was to tell you to do it one more time, but as you go into the breath, I want you to think of something that makes you happy or something that allows you to feel love. So either happy or love. What is something that has you? And it could be something that you're like wanting to have happen. So it doesn't even have to be current. It could be, if this thing happens, I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel loved, right? And then you take in that third breath, thinking of that thing happening. In through the nose, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. And just sit with that thought and see if you can feel happy or feel love by just thinking about the thought. So if that really small exercise was able to just shift you, 1 minute you go from listening to now you're participating, and you're creating an energy inside of you that you may or may not have been feeling 10 minutes ago, an hour ago. Well, then that is an example of when you live more conscientiously in the present each and every day, you can start taking your power back. This is not self-control. This is self-mastery, to where you can literally write a list of how you want to feel. And also write a list of how you don't want to feel. And every time you catch yourself feeling one of the things on the don't list, you know that you need to connect with your breath, think the happy thoughts, maybe play some positive affirmations to shift yourself. Maybe you got to do some grounding. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you spend time in nature. Maybe you got to just journal out, especially when there's patterns of things that constantly are just like coming up and haunting you. It's like, that's a journal prompt, right? Get it out, acknowledge it. A lot of times we just don't even want to acknowledge the bad. If you can just literally like download all the worst things that just bother you every day and just get it out and put it on paper, the chances of it continuing to bother you because you're all trying to just figure everything out in your head is greatly reduced. And the more you do it and you tell yourself, no more, I choose to feel happy. It's my mantra for this year, to be happy and to have fun. Be happy, to be happy, to have fun, to love life, and to always take time to breathe. Thank you to everybody that's joined me tonight. I'm going to keep getting on here. I'm going to keep putting in the work, and I'm going to keep celebrating and cheering you on to join me on this journey towards becoming the best version of yourself. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg Zell.